away because JJ thinks he can make every play known to man. But that's what you're hoping. You're just hoping it works. And if you call it versus the wrong look, kind of like we did last week when we called one a flea flicker to George and it wasn't there, and Brock just threw it to the flat to Christian. But you're just hoping something bad doesn't happen if it's not the right look. But we got the right look, and the guys pulled off a hell of a play.
Kyle, when you see the cards, obviously the worst, what is the fear that George did tear his Achilles, and then what's the extent of Jair's injury?
I mean, Jair's hamstring, so, I mean, the fact he wasn't able to come back, I'm sure he got it pretty good. So I'm sure he'd be a long shot for next week, but we'll find out more on that tomorrow. And George, the trainers knew before the cart came out, so they got word to me on the headset. And, yeah, torn Achilles.
Does Siegel come in for Brown because Tannock is doing the big nickel, that role? And
yes, yeah.
How do you feel Siegel did in the league?
It looked like he did real well. I mean, I thought he made a couple of plays that I saw. Again, I don't get to see all of it and check it out on the plane, but Siegel really helped us early in this year. We switched some stuff up. Hadn't gotten to get in there for a while. He's done a hell of a job on special teams, and he's been waiting and he's been practicing, doing everything. Hasn't gotten discouraged, and his moment came in the playoff game, and he was ready for it.
You mentioned the linebacker. What did you see from that? How did they kind of pull this off?
I mean, really, how well they were prepared. Just anytime you put a Mike linebacker in there and he's got to dictate the whole defense by getting the D-line set up, the coverages and everything. I thought Eric was just as expected. I mean, I've gone against Eric so much in my life, and I remember saying at the beginning of the week on Wednesday and to the whole team, I was like, guys, I don't really know Eric that well, but I've been going against him on the silent tape forever, and that's why I feel like I do know him. And from going against him, I promise you guys, this guy's gonna be ready. That was a vibe we've always had playing against him our whole career, and that's how he handled this whole week. And he looked kind of like what I've seen going against him my whole career. He looked like that tonight, just how he drops in the hooks. I think he's always a problem for quarterbacks. Looked like he knocked that ball down at the end. And then Garrett, too. Garrett was huge. I haven't gone against Garrett very much, but since he got here and played on our teams to start, he opted in a linebacker last week. I don't think they just stepped up and got through the game. I think they played at a high level, so it was really cool.
Well, I know this wasn't about a few years ago, but does it strike you that this was the room a few years ago where you had to tell us about Brock's elbow being shattered, and you were very emotional, obviously, in that game. Did you feel the emotion in this one? Does it hit you? This is the same place where all that happened?
It did the next time we came here. Like that was a tough game on us because we felt we were ready, and it was just a weird game because we lost all our quarterbacks in the first half, so it was just, and then, but that's why the last time we came here in 23 when they were 10-1 and we were 8-3, that was an emotional game about that. But this, no.
How important was Brock's mobility today?
Important. It's always important. I mean, Brock, he when your rush isn't good or the play's not good, he always gives you some opportunities by extending stuff and being able to keep us out there. And he didn't get a lot of opportunities with his legs today, but when he did, he was effective.
Could you talk about Robert Saleh and his impact?
He was unbelievable today. Just the plan that he put together, keeping it somewhat simple but still challenging. Having new guys in there, you got to somewhat keep it simple, but anytime you got a quarterback with a running element, all the RPOs they do, the wideouts that they have on the outside, the talent of their running back, their tight end, it was a huge challenge, and they did a hell of a job all day with it.
How does it strike you that this might make it harder to retain Robert Saleh after the season?
I don't know. I don't get why this game would matter. Saleh's that good anyway, so regardless of what happened today or what happens next week, it's a matter of time for Saleh as the head coach again. So.
The last game against the Seahawks was not very long ago. What are your first thoughts when you're going to play up there again?
I'm glad we get another shot. They played us real well. Definitely beat us, but I know we can play better than that. So I'm glad we got another shot.
How strongly would you prefer to play this on Sunday, not Saturday?
Very strongly, but
Strongly.
yeah, I'm expecting it to be Saturday. So, but hopefully, if the NFL's cool and understanding, they'll make it Sunday.
You saw Winters and Gifford working out for you. Were either of those guys close, and where was Ricky in that mix?
Ricky wasn't close enough to work out. Those guys were. But we knew it was going to be 50-50. I mean, they didn't seem like they were ready on Saturday. So, again, it's awesome when you get another day to do it, which gave them a chance. But they were too far away.
I apologize. I asked you this on Friday. You didn't know at that point, but Fred Warner, what are the possibilities that you open his window this coming week?
I don't know, not very high.
Trent mentioned you would be pushing the limits of kind of the time required for him to come back from that hamstring. When did you know that he was going to play today, and just how much of a feat was it?
I mean, he told me Sunday night there was no way he wouldn't be playing this week. So I knew how his mindset was. I knew how he attacked everything, but it was, you know, it was his first Trent. It was Trent's first hamstring injury, and it's very rare that you can play on a hamstring like that in this amount of time. So even though I knew he was adamant that he was going to do it, I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to figure out how to do it, and obviously he did. So we're a different team with Trent out there.
Saturday night.
What's that?
Saturday night. That's what
Yeah, Saturday night.
Purdy, 2 picks, but then he gathered himself in that final drive. How much, you obviously have a lot of confidence in him, but how impressed are you that he could kind of wash that away and just move on to the next drive?
So impressed because there were 2 mistakes he'd love to take back. But to play like he did on that last drive, especially after 2 throws like that, he was unbelievable. I mean, he kept letting it rip. The guy was not scared to fail at all, which you can't be to make some of those plays. And they weren't easy plays either. It wasn't like it was always number 1 or anything like that. He was going through some progressions with a really good pass rush. And I thought the touchdown to Juice there at the end was probably the most impressive.
Coach, what does a win like this say about the team's resilience and belief in each other?
I mean, I think it shows how they've been all year. I mean, they've been resilient all year. They've overcome a lot. They believe in each other a ton, and we knew we couldn't come in here and just win by certain guys making plays. We knew we had to come in here and win as a complete team, and I really believe we played as a complete team today, and that's why we got it done.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We have to wait for more people to come.
Anthony, you got anything for Brown?
Oh, yeah, Rob, talk about how many guys able to come here to Philadelphia and beat them, defending Super Bowl champs. I think you had a lot of you.
Sorry.
Right now.
Yeah. Sorry. Do I talk or do I wait for everybody? Okay. I mean, yeah, it was not an easy task, and obviously it's the NFL, so it never is. But you know, for us to come in here and just do whatever it takes, man. Obviously, wish you could play a little bit better in certain areas and in certain situations, but at the end of the day, it's a fourth quarter game, and you got to go score for the season and for your team, and then obviously for the defense to go down and get a stop like that, man, was huge. So it's a team effort, it really is, and it's just cool for everybody across the board to be able to have this kind of win and celebrate together with all the stuff that we've been through, and obviously we're excited for next week too.
After throwing the 2 picks, how did you have the confidence in yourself to lead the team down for that game-winning touchdown?
I mean, the game's still there to go take, you know. So I was just being real with myself, and obviously like leaning into my faith and understanding that, you know, I got to hold all this loosely, but you know, try to go do God's will, man, and that's every drive. And so you know, same thing happened at the end of the game. We needed to go do it, and so I just kept my mind fresh and go play one play at a time. Every play has a life of its own, and you know, still have that attack mentality every single play. So that's how I did it.
What was your view
Kyle
of
Kyle said that you're not afraid to fail. Is that a mindset you have to work on in moments like that?
Definitely. You know, because there's been times in my career and, you know, growing up, there's, you know, moments where it's like, man, you got to go win it here. And in that moment, you can start thinking to yourself, like, all the worst possible, you know, scenarios. And so just learning from those kind of things. And then so when there's a moment like this, it's like, no, like, there's a moment right there for you to go take. And so being aggressive but being smart and playing one play at a time, and obviously just believing in yourself. And for me, like, I'm a faithful man, so like at the end of the day, I leave that all up to God. So I'm going to go out there and give it my all, so, and see what happens after that. So that's how I view it.
What was your view of the Juwan pass to Christian? It seemed like the ball was up there for a long time.
Yeah, I was on the edge, sort of blocking, sort of not in the play, and then I look back, I see JJ get hit, and I was like, dang, dude, should I have done something about that? And then I look up, and the ball's in the air, and Christian tracked it. It was wobbling in the wind, and the fact that Christian caught it over his shoulder, dude, I was like, oh my gosh. And I looked back to JJ, and I was like, you're all right, and then celebrated. So it was a really cool play. I mean, he's a baller when it comes to that. He did the same thing in the Super Bowl, took a hit, threw it to Christian on a trick play for a touchdown. So those two are pretty cool to watch.
Like that comes in, and what's your feeling knowing this could be a game breaker? Obviously, a tight game, fourth quarter. What do you think?
Yeah, obviously, if it's there, sweet, let's capitalize. But also, you know, telling JJ to, hey, dude, if it's not there, you can throw it away. Let's be smart. It's 1st and 10. You know, we have 2 more downs after this. So it was one of those things. If the op's there, great. If not, let's live to see another down.
How many times did you run that play in practice roughly, and how did it go with the run?
Yeah, we ran it a good amount. We had it up earlier in the year too. You know, some trick plays and stuff you have in some weeks, some weeks you don't. So that was something that we sort of been, you know, working on, I guess, over the last, I don't know, however many months. But it was cool in that moment that they believed in JJ to get it done. So it was cool.
Kyle mentioned that you know, JJ thinks he can make every play, no matter what the look and everything. So what did he give you those instructions to remind him in the huddle? Okay, it's 1st down. I mean, all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
don't try to do too much.
Definitely. Like, we just came off, I forgot if the quarter, if it was the quarter. So we flipped sides of the field. We had time to talk in the huddle and everything. And Kyle's just going through all the reminders and stuff. And I'm sitting there like telling JJ everything to be smart. But and he knew it. He's been in these kind of situations before, and he's got that chill, you know, demeanor. And he knew if we had to look, he's going to be aggressive. If not, he's going to be smart.
On your final pass to Christian, did you guys talk in the huddle ahead of time? How did you see him specifically cut back inside on that play? Was that design?
Yeah, it was designed. Obviously, just like he's my last guy in the progression, but if we had a certain look where he was one-on-one at the end of the play, then it was going to be there if I got to him. And so I just checked out the front side of the play and didn't feel anything, so I just stepped up and knew Christian should be right where he was, and he was. So it was just perfectly drawn-up play and then executed greatly by Christian.
Last
Brock,
one there.
you were doing a lot of kind of directing before that snap, guys, maybe not in the right spot or whatnot. Were you worried at all that that play wasn't going to get off in time or wasn't get off correctly?
I mean, sometimes that happens. In games, guys sometimes hear it wrongly or whatever, and so in the moment it was just like, all right, get your split out by D-Rob, and then we needed KB to motion over, and they knew the play at that time, but it's like getting guys in the right spot, and then obviously seeing the clock and making sure we get the snap off, and then go through your read. So I mean, that's part of it, man. That's something that you do in the NFL every single game. As a quarterback, you have to make sure all that's good, but at the same time, we all hold each other accountable to make sure we're doing our jobs right. So it's something we'll watch on the film and be better at.
Brock,
How challenging was the win? How challenging was the win?
It was definitely a factor. Yeah, definitely. Just certain parts of the stadium too, the wind bouncing off our sideline and some end zones with the open side, like the wind pushing it back in. So it's definitely part of the game. Something that we talked about pregame and stuff warming up, but during the game you have to account for it for sure. It's part of it.
All right, we gotta go now. Sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Christian, you ready?
Christian, when that play comes in and it's to you, are you excited? What are you thinking about that moment?
Just executing, man. I know we had some time to think about it, and Juwan threw a great ball, and it worked out great. It was a great time to call that play too, so it was awesome.
You were coming out a little late on that play. Did you know you just have to beat DeJean, DeJean, whatever, and that's it? You're going to score, and the ball was up there pretty far and a little distant for you. What was it just to adjust to that?
Oh man, Juwan ripped it. That was in the air. Felt like for 15 seconds, but no, it was again just a great play call, well executed. It's a good momentum play too.
What makes this 49ers team different from all other 49ers teams you've been on?
I don't know if they're different. I do know that this team fights, man. I think this team's never out of the fight. We can have a lot of stuff happen to us throughout the year. Some unfortunate things happen to us, but we don't blink, and I think we're consistent every day. It's something that when you're on a good team and a high character team, they're the same people every single day. We might mess up, might make mistakes, some bad plays here or there, but we don't blink and keep fighting for each other.
You've lost key leaders so many times, and then Kittle, outside people would say, this is the straw that breaks the camel's back at some point. But how did you guys kind of digest Kittle's injury and then continue forward like you have so many?
It's hard to do, man. This team has carried the character of George Kittle throughout the entire year, and since I got traded here, he's the heart and soul of this team, and so it's a tough loss, man. When he's not playing, it means a lot, but he's somebody that, even going through something that he had to go through and us finding a way to finish, he's the first guy in the locker room smiling, bumping music, happy for his teammates, and when you lose a leader like that, you never really lose him because his presence is still in this locker room, his energy is still here, and he's the leader and heart and soul of this team, and so we're praying for him, love him, and we're going to play for him the rest of the way.
Christian, what does a win like this do for the belief of the team moving forward that you guys are, and everybody else has to, a serious contender to win the Super Bowl?
We always believe, this team, we really block out noise, man. I mean, it's all about just getting better every day. And I don't think there's a secret sauce to what we're doing. It's just hard-nosed guys that are gritty, that show up every single day and work, and that's what we'll continue to do.
Christian, you call this team a high-character team pretty much week after week. What exactly do you mean by that?
I think a team that shows up every day with the correct mentality, works really hard, doesn't make excuses, owns up to mistakes, and continues to get better. And I think that's, again, I think it's a locker room that has a lot of love for football and a lot of love for each other.
Christian, you had linebackers on this team that weren't on this team a month ago. How impressed are you that these guys, in a big moment on the road, stepped up huge today?
Yeah, I mean, that stuff like that is unbelievable. I think it's a testament to the room, the coaching, the system, to be able to come in here not even a month ago and not just play, but play well is a huge deal. So proud of those guys and respect the hell out of the fact that they came in here and made a lot of plays.
Christian, this coach of George's injury, on a human level, that's your good friend, potentially devastating injury. Does it take a moment during the game to kind of reset and get digest that, or you did not afford you to do that very
I think you digest it after the game. You got to have, it's a weird deal when your brother goes down, but, plays are called and you got to go out there and execute. Still got a game to win. And the way I see it, George wouldn't want you to harp over anything that goes on with him. He would want you to get back in there and continue to play.
I think you would be pushing the limits of the time it would require to get back from that hamstring injury. By him playing today, what kind of message does that send to you guys, to the team?
Again, man, when you got a guy who's in year 45 going out here and doing everything he can to come play in this game, and the speeches he gives, the energy he brings to our team, there's no excuse. It's he did everything under the sun to come back and play in this game, and did. And so again, I hate saying it, but it's not shocking. That's who he is, and that's who this team is.
Christian, that ball was in the air for so long from Jawan. The readjustment, did that help you not think about anything, like, drop it just because it was in there so long?
Yeah, that was a blur. Normally you don't think about anything during a play, but I felt like I had a lot of time to think. That was not easy for sure with the wind, and but again, it was a great throw. Glad he threw it. Worked out.
Last one, Cam, go ahead.
Take us through the final play, touchdown, through your eyes, what you saw as you were waiting for Brock to get
Yeah, we ran that play all week, and Brock did a hell of a job going through his progressions and finding me late, and faked like I was going into the flat and ran a little angle route. Those are always a little bit tough because you got to win within the timing of the play. And so you don't really know how quickly he's going through his progressions, and you don't know if he's getting a pass rush or whatever, but he did an awesome job stepping up, finding some space. O-line did a great job protecting, and it was kind of wide open. So appreciate it, guys.
Dewan's right here.
Teammates pointed out you have thrown big passes before in big games, mostly the Super Bowl. What were you thinking when that play went in and you knew it was your play?
I was just thinking, get the ball, execute, tuck the ball away, make the defense think I'm running it, and saw Christian get open and make the right pass.
JJ, if I'm not mistaken, walking in the locker room, you said you feel like you're about to touch the sky. How good does this win feel?
Man, it feels incredible, you know what I'm saying? Y'all need to go listen to that Future song, Incredible. That's how I'm feeling. And we just got to carry on to the next game.
Trent said he thought you overthrew it a little bit. Your response to Trent Williams.
I did. I really did. I was scared for a little bit, but after I heard the screams, I'm just like, yeah, CMC had to make a great catch because coming off my hand, I definitely thought I threw it a little bit too far.
Have you seen the replay of the catch that he made? And if you have, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I saw just a little bit, quick action. I'm just catching a little clip, and I thought it was a great catch. That's what I thought. I thought it was a great catch. He took it all the way to the ground and was very much needed.
And how proud are you of taking the roughing passer as well?
Oh yeah, and one. You know what I'm saying? It's the and one. Man, I just feeling good, man. Brock, the whole team just puffing me up after we found out it was an and one, and went to the sideline and just celebrated with the team, man. Pumped. And for defense to come out there and finish the game the way they did, it was tremendous.
When you get throwing opportunities like that, do you go back to your days as a high school quarterback?
A little bit. Just during the play, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I was quarterback back at Blackman High School, but I snapped back in reality real quick. I'm a receiver, and I'm just out there trying to get open for Brock.
Which quarterback did you pat in your game after when you were a kid?
I had a few. I like Cam Newton, love Michael Vick. I can't think of his name. I want to say Dante Culpepper. I did like him a lot too.
Jawan, you guys as a team have been able to overcome so much this year, and again today with George going out. How are you guys able to do it?
Just relying on each other, trusting the process, trusting the play calls Kyle's giving us, and then, like I said, trusting the defense to get them out the field.
How much did that first catch by D-Rock give you guys left on that first drive?
Oh, that was amazing. See Bro come out there. He works his tail off each and every week, and for him to get that opportunity and seize it, it was huge. And he's been wanting that, and so for him to get it, we all want it for him. And it was a great moment.
I guess you don't get a warm-up throw or anything like that before that. How hard is it make that throw without warming up?
I think it's more mentality more than anything. You just got to believe in yourself.
John, it seems like you're having a very good time playing football, and that everybody is. Is this some of the seasons of the most fun you've had?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we went to the Super Bowl, so we got to top that. Play with a lot of great players here. See the guys get hurt, that's definitely not fun. But to win, with a great group of guys who I love to enjoy time with on and off the field, that's what it's all about.
Kyle said he told Brock to remind you that it wasn't a good look and he threw it away. He was a little concerned that you thought you could make any throw regardless. How hard would it have been to throw that away?
Not hard at all, man. Not hard at all. I love my job. Let's say that.
What makes this 49ers team different? How do you know it's the right look? Like, was there between, red light, throw it away, and green light?
Just seeing, how open Christian was. They just got to look downfield.
What makes this 49ers team different from other 49ers teams you've been a part of?
I would say just the grit. You're not knowing the unexpected, but still coming through.
You played through your own share of injuries earlier in the season. How much does Trent playing on that hamstring, add to the morale for this team coming into the game?
I would say huge. Love Big Trent, man. That's top. That's the biggest.
You guys just played Seattle a week ago, now you're going back, so what are your thoughts on facing those guys?
Can't wait! Can't wait!
All right, thanks, JJ.
Yes, sir! How y'all doing?
Eric, I asked Keon while in the locker room, obviously Coach said that you got two new guys playing linebacker this week, but Keon was like, you're the oldest new guy in any linebacker. To know that, you told me earlier this week that all you were focused on was communicating. It seemed like you were successful out there. How good did this win feel, and how good did you feel being able to do that comfortable going into this game?
Felt great. I haven't won in Philly in a while, so it feels good for the soul. Obviously, under the circumstances, me and Garrett, gotta give a shout out to Garrett Wallow. He was excellent in communication. I always judge other linebackers based on when things are super thick out, and things aren't going our way. How well you're able to communicate and how well you're able to stay calm. And he checked those boxes. So shout out to him. That was a big moment for both of us, just to come in and obviously it's been next man up kind of mentality this whole year with unfortunately with all the injuries. And I'm just happy that we can come through for everybody.
You nor Garrett have been around with this team long, let alone working together. How were you able to get on the same page? Did you do extra, stay late, any extra stuff?
Man, shout out to KJ. KJ Wright. I've been in kind of just knocking on his meeting door. Getting extra time with him since I got here. So whether it's super early in the morning or after meetings, I feel like he's got me prepared. We went through a bunch of situations, watched a bunch of film together. He's got stamina as a coach. So obviously we know what kind of player he was. But it's been nice to bounce my old playbook off him and kind of compare it to this new one and get the similarities and the differences, because that's kind of like this is my, I think, fourth defense in a row. So it's like, you have to be able to compare and contrast and, just get rid of the stuff that doesn't matter and kind of lock in on the new concepts. So I feel like we got a pretty good grasp of that pretty early.
Eric, you played 16 games for a lot of years in this league. This year you played a lot less than that. You look kind of fresh. Do you feel like fresher physically because you haven't played all those games?
Yeah, I feel like, last year I was super hurt. I was super hurt all year. Was dealing with my shoulder. It was really, really, I didn't realize how much it was affecting me until, I think the first game this year and being able to use it again. But, I feel great. Bodies feels great. I just wanted to wait for that right opportunity with the right team. And, nothing felt too right until, I got here and, I got in the locker room with, all the leaders that this team has. It just made, it made the most sense. And, I feel like I fit in with the guys right away. And, I was willing to take a role that I had never taken before, playing in different positions that I never played before, playing special teams. It was easy because everybody on this team is so unselfish. So it was just easy for me to come in and be like, check my ego at the door and just get it done for the team to win. So, just shout out to the team and just everybody who's involved.
What makes Robert Saleh so special?
I feel like it's the trust that he has in his players, and just the emphasis on just playing fast and physical, because that takes care of a lot of the offense's job is to try to scheme us up on defense. So by playing fast and physical, you can kind of eliminate some of the schematics of the offense and just kind of make plays. But I think it's just the trust he has in us, how we're coached. I've been around some great coaches in this league, and, I mean, there's a reason why I wanted to come to San Francisco as well to play in this defense. So, yeah, shout out.
Eric, where did you get the T-shirt? And then
I got the T-shirt in Japan. It was at a thrift store. So, yeah. I feel like I get along with most people, so maybe it's not as true, but I come with a good attitude, so maybe change it.
set you back.
What is it? You have to carry two. It's like what, 10,000 yen, so like $100, I think.
Can you walk us through their last offensive play and what you thought might happen and what did happen on that play?
To be honest with you, I especially when the game's on the line, I'm thinking that they were going to try to get the ball in either the three playmakers' hands. Obviously Goddard was one of the people I thought about because he was on the hash, but I originally thought Saquon, AJ, and as soon as I started dropping, we were in the A gaps. As soon as I started dropping and I saw Saquon kind of go across to protect. I knew I had to get to the other hash kind of quick. I wish I would have picked it off. I should have picked it off. I usually do that, but I was happy I was able to make the play and get from hash to hash on that one.
We got time for two more guys.
Man, I'm just so blown away with just the leadership on this team. Guys like Brock Purdy are just exactly what you see, is exactly what you get in the building. These guys are true professionals. The best of the best. They do it the right way. They hold each other accountable. They show up with a great attitude. They work through injuries. They work through, turmoil and adversity. And I'm just blessed to be in the position I'm in.
Eric, what does a win like this do for the defense and the belief in yourselves and your unit moving forward?
Yeah, I don't feel like we were lacking in any confidence, you know what I mean, at all. But it gets us to the next round, you know what I mean? It's a blessing. I was out there just thinking about how many times I played in Philly and how many times I've been in the playoffs and just, it's not easy to come by. So I don't want to take that for granted. We're on the next round. This win was sweet. I'm going to enjoy it for the next couple of hours, but we want to go further. We want to do more.
Who's one of the most unlikely playoff teams you've been on?
I would say it's unlikely because I was not on a team for so long, so a little bit unlikely. But from the outside looking in, I think it may look super unlikely, but being in the building for the last month and some change now, it's not a question by me of why we're in the situation we're in. You know what I mean? I believe in this team.
All right, thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
All right, take it easy.